one of those fascinating shows because, you know, I've done many crime shows over the years, Deadline Crime for like 9 seasons, and recently had something on Hulu. So I don't know if you're like me, but I will start scrolling through the TV and looking. I'm like, oh my goodness. And people always ask me, why are you so fascinated by true crime? And I truly believe it's that you think, wow, what if that happened to me or someone I know? And then I go into, but for the grace of God, there go I mode, because, you know, I have seen and done stories where literally the walk to your car at a parking garage changes the dynamic of everything. And so that's why, you know, we do this hour, because I do find it as a journalist still to be some of the most compelling reporting. And today we're going to meet people behind the biggest true crime podcasts and headlines in your feed. See, when I started reporting, there was no such thing as a podcast. No one knew what that was. But now some of these stories are in our ear, and we are learning more details than, honestly, I ever reported as a general news reporter. We're starting out with a broadcast exclusive. Melissa G. Moore. She is the real-life daughter of a serial killer at the center of one of the most talked about true crime dramas. I don't know if y'all have seen Happy Face on Paramount Plus. It is unbelievable. And Melissa is speaking for the first time on TV since that show debuted to tell the Tam Fam in her own words what it was like. She was 16 years old when she learned her father was a murderer and had gone on a 5-year killing spree. Her dad is long-haul truck driver Keith Jefferson, and he's also known as the Happy Face Killer. He took the lives of 8 women between the years of 1990 and 1995, and he got that infamous nickname. And I always used to wonder, because I would hear like the Happy Face Killer. He got that name after taunting police and the media with anonymous confessional letters signed with a smiling face before finally being caught and convicted. The ordeal left his family, particularly his daughter, saying that it was like a life sentence alongside of him. The Happy Face finale airs this Thursday. Melissa is also the executive producer. Here's a look.
Thank you for calling the Oregon Department of Corrections.
I'm gonna say this slowly so you understand.
Stay out of my life and stay away from me and my kids.
Come on in, Ivy. I'm just finding out a little more about Melissa here.
What's going on? This is true crime. She's makeup.
Earlier today, a person called into this show, the Happy Face Killer.
The trucker serial killer from around here?
Mm-hmm. And he made it clear there were only 2 people here that he would talk to, myself and Melissa here. Why?
He's my father.
When I confessed in 95, I held one back.
What's this victim's name?
I'll only tell it to Melissa in person.
My kids don't know. No one does.
He said he killed another woman. This story is bigger than just you.
He wasn't always a monster, he became one. Before that, he was just my dad.
Please welcome Melissa G. Moore to the show. Thank you so much for this. It's so fascinating to me on many levels. First of all, the actress who portrays you, Annalee Ashford, she looks exactly like your twin.
That's what people tell me, yeah.
Were you involved in the casting? Because
No.
Dennis Quaid plays your father.
Right.
No, you weren't involved in the casting
I was not
at
involved
all.
in the casting. The show creator, Jen Casisio, she was fully in charge of that. And I mean, I'm so pleased with the actors that are a part of this. They have so much heart and compassion and do a phenomenal job.
Because that is, I imagine, for them the challenge as well, because
Yeah.
you're executive producer of this, you're sitting there, this is your real life.
Right.
And you're watching it through the lens of television. Is it surreal? Like you were just watching that trailer
Yeah.
with us.
Yeah, it's surreal. I watched the whole series with my kids and my
With
husband.
your kids? How old
Yeah.
are your kids?
They're adults. They're
Okay.
adults. Yeah, they're adults. So in the series, they're young, but they're grown up, and yeah, they watched it, and it was surreal for them too as a family. Yeah.
The series was inspired by your podcast. You had a podcast called Happy Face. It was downloaded over 20 million times. What do you think the fascination is?
Well, we went on this journey in 2018, and it was the first time that I think in the true crime space, we peeled back the layer and showed what it's really like for family members of perpetrators to have to confront the shame. And in that series, in the podcast series, I go and meet with Don Finley, who is the son of my father's last victim.
Yeah.
And
She was his girlfriend.
right. And so it was the first time I met with him and got to hear his story. It was very raw. I'm sure you'll hear it, but I think it was just the realness of a lot of the true crime content out there. You watch it and they're real people, but I don't think sometimes it resonates that there's real like ripple effects that continue on.
I'm so happy you said that because, when I stopped doing Deadline Crime, that was one of the reasons, because I used to call it, I said people had turned it into glam crime. It was like 500 shows everywhere. And I thought, wow, I need to take a step back. My sister was the victim of an unsolved murder. And I was like, these are people.
So
I know firsthand. And so I can't imagine, though, your experience in this, because this started as you're a 16-year-old at the time when you received the news about your father. Do you remember that day?
Oh, absolutely. We were living in the basement of my grandmother's home. I went to high school that day. I came home from high school and walked down to the basement, and that's when my mom called all three of us together, because I'm the oldest of three children. And she said, I need to tell you something. Your father's been arrested. And then my brother asked, for what? And she said, for murder. And I just recall like feeling just bewildered and overwhelmed with emotion, and going to I had a cot for a bed, and I went and laid on the cot, and I just started to like process, cry.
Because you're 16, so that you're a young adult, but you're still a kid. And now someone is saying, that someone being your mother, because they divorced.
Right, they divorced.
They had divorced, that your father was a murderer. Do you get therapy instantly for something like that? I mean,
no, I didn't get therapy right away. And I think that's really where a lot of the residue, the problems started to occur, is because I started to feel guilt by association and by the public. And then also I took that internally. I think if I would have received help, and that would be my advice for any family facing, a crime in the family or whatnot, is that you can take that shame on yourself, and that could be a part of your identity. And that's what happened for me.
That's what happened for you. So everyone in the neighborhood, everyone in your family circles, they knew you were his kid.
Right. And so my friends' parents didn't want them to be around me. Mind you, this is the 90s, and true crime content wasn't where it is today. And I think maybe that's some of the silver lining of all these true crime podcasts and shows, is that I think we're more aware of what happens to families.
But at that
crime.
time, you're in the 90s.
Right. And
you're
nobody
there
talks about that.
And no one, and people, you were aware that your friends' parents no longer wanted them to hang out with you, as if you had done something.
Right. And so I took that upon myself as okay, then I'm bad.
Oh, wow.
And so I carried that for so long. And I carried it all the way up as an adult until I had children. And then it was my daughter that really provoked me to take a bigger look at it. So she came home from school. She had done that family assignment where, the family tree assignment, where you had to put the name of your family members on the family tree.
And then you get to granddad.
Yeah, you get to granddad. And she's like, who's he? Where's he? Yeah.
When we come back, how Melissa answered her daughter's question and the impact that this gripping drama has had on her life. We'll be right back.
Later, missing after a fire ripped through her home, she was declared dead at just 10 days old. Then the truth came out. The shocking true crime story of what happened to baby Delamar Vera. Plus, the new documentary shining a light on the Bakersfield 3. When two friends disappear and another is found murdered, their mothers band together to find out what happened. The stunning twists and turns of what they uncovered. Coming up